Lon Chaney could not eat. He could not sit down. He could barely see. And he had done all of it to himself on purpose for a silent movie. The year was 1923. The film was The Hunchback of Notre Dame, and the man under the makeup was already the most famous actor America had never seen. Chaney was born in 1883 to two deaf parents. He grew up speaking with his face, not his voice. As a child, he learned to communicate every emotion through expression and gesture, because that was the only language his mother and father could read. By his early 20s, Chaney was working in theater, then in Hollywood. But he was not a leading man. His face was too severe, his presence too unsettling. So he did what no other actor would. He started building his own faces. Chaney experimented with wire, putty, collodion, cotton, and glue. He learned to reshape his nose, his jaw, his entire skull. He invented techniques that had never existed before. No makeup department could do what he did. So he did it himself, alone, before anyone else arrived on set. When Universal Pictures acquired the rights to Victor Hugo's novel in 1922, they knew exactly who to call. They greenlit a budget of $1.25 million, by far the most expensive film Universal had ever made. And they handed the lead role to a man they planned to tell nobody about. The marketing campaign was audacious. Universal ran ads asking the public to guess who played Quasimodo. They planted stories that the performer was an unknown. Chaney's name was kept out of the earliest promotions entirely. The studio that paid him his salary pretended he did not exist. Every morning, Chaney arrived at the studio before dawn. The makeup took 4 hours. First came the hump, a massive plaster shell strapped to his back with leather. It forced his spine into a permanent hunch. He could not stand straight. He could not sit in a chair. Between takes, he leaned against a specially built wooden brace. Then came his face. Chaney pulled his right eye upward with a wire frame tucked under the lid, then covered it with a translucent membrane that made it look blind and dead. He could barely see through it. His left eye, by contrast, was left exposed, making the asymmetry on screen genuinely unsettling. His nose was widened with putty. His teeth were fitted with crooked caps that made it impossible to close his mouth fully. His hair was matted and clumped into ragged strands. He did not look like a man in a costume. He looked like a creature that had crawled out of a medieval painting. The physical toll was immense. The harness cut into his shoulders. The hump shifted and rubbed his skin raw. The wire under his eyelid caused constant irritation. In long scenes under hot studio lights, the makeup would start to crack and separate. He filmed through the pain, take after take, because walking off the set meant another 4 hours in the chair. Universal built the largest outdoor set in Hollywood history for this film, a full-scale replica of the facade of Notre Dame Cathedral covering 3 acres of the Universal backlot. It stood for years after filming wrapped, a landmark visible from miles away. Tourists came just to see a fake French cathedral in California. The film was a phenomenon. It earned over $3 million at the box office, an extraordinary number for 1923. Critics called Chaney's performance a masterpiece of physical acting. But the strangest outcome was this. After all the secrecy, after all the mystery marketing, audiences still did not know what Lon Chaney actually looked like. He became the most famous invisible man in America. Every film he made required a new face, and he never repeated one. For 1925's The Phantom of the Opera, he pulled his nose up with wires and inserted discs into his cheeks. For 1927's The Unknown, he learned to use his feet as hands. He was searching for a new physical language every single time. The Hunchback of Notre Dame entered the public domain decades ago. All films published in the United States before 1928 are now free for anyone to watch, share, remix, or build on. That is how you can find the entire film on the Internet Archive today. The monster Chaney built with plaster and wire and pain belongs to everybody now. Lon Chaney died in 1930 at the age of 47 from a throat hemorrhage related to lung cancer. He made only one talking picture. His son, Lon Chaney Jr., would go on to play the Wolfman, the Mummy, and Frankenstein's monster. But he never tried to match his father's transformations. He knew nobody could. The story of silent cinema is full of people who did impossible things before the tools existed to do them easily. If you want more stories about the wildest films that time forgot, follow The Real Vault. We find them so you do not have to.